by Tap Out, an expression of combat known worldwide, now available at tapout.com.
Hello, did you miss me? We're back. The Adventures of Chael Sonnen. Now this one is going to go for about 40 minutes. Cut down from about 2 hours really. But that's because I'm cutting all the crap out, and I've cut a few fights. Basically ones that had damage to the file or damage to the audio. So we'll start off with Bisping versus Sonnen. Obviously I am Sonnen, and basically guys, today when I recorded this, I recorded probably about 5 years of Chael's career all in one file. It's the world's largest file. It's about six gigs worth of content, and I'm just going to show you the fights, some of the fights from that. But obviously this one is I wanted to try and advance Chael's career, so I modified his moveset, and now I've basically given him a signature move, and you'll see in some of the fights in this and the next episode what tactic I've found that works. Clearly it's the front kick, because the front kick has worked against so many people in this recording session, and I've really pushed Chael's career in this episode. But obviously I wanted to, when it comes to fighting, I like to try and keep Chael ahead of the pack, and to make sure that what I've found is I'm getting gassed too quickly. My stamina's not brilliant, so I've started to go with the back and forth, just using the circle and the triangle buttons without holding the L1, to sort of use essentially shadow boxing, which does a little bit of damage, and then coming in with one of my power kicks when Chael's stamina's come back. But obviously this fight's quite a long one, and they get shorter and shorter as this one goes on, because as Chael becomes a better fighter and people start to get older. Because what I like about the career mode in this is whatever fighter you choose, they are 21 when they are I think they're 21 or 18 when they start their career. Everybody else in the division stays the same age. So as you'll see in the next episode and in this one, I'm fighting blokes in their 40s, including a virtual wall of a fighter later on. But I think I'm becoming a better player at the game and a better fighter in general, with the way that I'm doing the matches. But we've come into the second round. We're going into the second round now. But what I'm doing is working, and not many of my fights go outside the second round after in this. But nice combos and stuff. So, but yeah, I'm really working hard on trying to improve Chael as a fighter, but I'm fully aware that there's probably going to be this episode, the next episode which I already recorded, and then maybe 1 or 2 more episodes, and that's going to be the end of Chael's career. So what I want you lot to get in on is use the comment section below to pick fighters that you want me to do. Now I'm open to two things really. I'm open to going with a career fighter. So if you want me to do Lesnar or Roy Nelson or Frank Mir, something like that, I'm all for it. Or alternatively, and here's Chael with some of my ground and pound and the rear naked. I'm yet to tap anybody out with this fucking rear naked, but I always go into it if I rock somebody and get them onto their knees like that. But I'm yet to tap anybody out with it. So, but whether you want me to do like a named fighter or someone in the lower division, lower weight classes, sorry, I think I could do Liddell in a career mode or something like that. Or if you guys want me to create a character from another game as best I can. So I was thinking of doing a boxer in the heavyweight division, and basing him off Steve Fox from Tekken. I was also thinking of looking up to see if it's possible to create stuff like Jin from Tekken, or some WWE guys. Maybe seeing if there's a template that I can go with. You know, a worked template that I could work on, and possibly do CM Punk or. But what do you guys want me to do with this? Because I'm definitely going to do more with this game, because this is one of the funnest, the most fun. This is one of the most fun games that I play. Knockout there with the punch. You know, this is one of the most fun games I play. Legitimately, I can sit down and play this for 4 hours, right? Which I did today, and then sit down at night and sort of chop it together and make some episodes out of it. Or would you guys be more for me doing, you know, other fighters? If there's anything that I really want your advice, because I know this is my most popular series. It's getting the most views from one of my main series, and I know I'm doing it as a very irregular series, but that's simply based on the fact that it takes so fucking long to do. It takes me so long to make, because obviously I've got to play through the game, then I've got to bring it into my edit. Honestly, you're talking like 2, 3, 4 gig files, because I cut so much of the menu stuff out. I have to record for like 2 hours just to get a 40-minute video, because there's so many menus and stuff like that. But I'm happy to do more of this game if you guys want it. But what I need you guys to tell me is, what would you like me to do with it? But we're into the next fight now. This is Nate Marquardt versus Chael Sonnen. So in this one we'll be using the same tactics, and well, this one didn't go so well. I was still adjusting to playing the game, because obviously it's been about 2 weeks since I played this game, so I really was struggling to teethe into playing the game and relearning everything, learning all the combos and stuff. Because when you don't play a game in an extended period of time, you forget the controls sometimes. Not completely, do I press X to walk sort of thing, but in a sort of, so, because this game's got a lot of very, you know, in order to do certain things, you got to, you know, pull back the stick to posture up, press L1 to use power, to use like technique strikes and stuff like that. So there's so many little sort of piddly little bits about this, and obviously each of your individual move has like a combo almost to do. So it's sort of like, it's one of those where you got to sort of relearn the controls. But once I've got into it, which you'll start to see later on in this, I pretty much become a dominant monster, and there's only one fighter I'm yet to defeat. There's really only one fighter who I haven't defeated. I mean, I've lost to some fighters who I've beaten before, but there's one fighter who I just can't get a fucking break with, and you'll see that in the next episode, because I don't think he turns up in this one. But I'm certainly working hard with this one, and I'm really pleased with the progress I'm making with my version of Chael. I know he's probably very different to what you guys know as the real Chael Sonnen in real MMA, because I don't watch much MMA. But it is something I'm willing to give a try to. I just need to sort of be pointed in the right direction, really. Because I really enjoyed playing this game, but obviously I don't know whether I'd enjoy it if I'm not being in control, because I'm really enjoying sort of having the freedom to fight whoever I want, whenever I want, really. But we're going into the second round here, which is something that when I played with heavyweights, because I mean prior to the Chael Sonnen, I did do a season with Dan Seven, and I was playing Dan Seven as the hard-hitting knockout guy, knocking people out in the first round. Because he's a bit bigger than, obviously, but in this division it's more speed and technique, and I'm learning that, and obviously I lost a lot of fights initially as Chael, but I'm starting to develop him into the kind of fighter who could be a title contender. I mean, I have been the title contender in this series once at present, when I faced Anderson Silva for the title, but I obviously came up a cropper in that, but a cropper as in not very well, not a cropper as in Roy Cropper from Coronation Street. That's only going to make sense to people in the United Kingdom. But yeah, he was completely, I've got my tactics that work, and sometimes it just doesn't go your way, and that's something you've got to be used to. I really do like doing that, picking them up from the clinch, arms underneath, and throwing them up into the air and bashing them down on their back. And I think that does quite a bit of damage to quite a few different areas. It definitely gives you me advantage. I notice when I do that to somebody, I do improve on a fight level, and I have a better fight afterwards. I'm not great. This version of Chael, I have been good before at the ground and pound, but this version of Chael isn't that. And obviously, submission is one of my weaker areas a little bit. I certainly can't finish submissions with my version of Chael, but he's more of a striker than he's more of a striker, this version of Chael, than any other version. But I'll sort of see what we've got here, and yeah, so I think I'm gonna tap eventually, but I know I lose this fight, but that's based simply on the fact that I'm still getting into the moves, and I'm sort of picking up what I can and can't do, really.
Head kick. And again.
But what I'm finding with this series is that I am starting to become a better fighter from trying different things. Obviously, I've got my own. When I first played this out, I played as Brock Lesnar because I'm more of a wrestling fan than an MMA fan. That's gonna get me some hate, but so obviously I didn't know who any of the people were, and I am sort of reading up on people, and I mean I'm starting to listen to podcasts about it, stuff like the MMA Report with John Pollock. I am very, very very much considering the Joe Rogan podcast. I've got a friend meeting up with me for a conversation on another series tomorrow when I'm recording this. So this is going out not at the time of recording. But I'm going to ask him some stuff about what that podcast is and whether it's a podcast that is going to help me for what I need. Because obviously there's only so many hours in the week, and I am recording a lot more often than I would like to. But obviously I listen to podcasts when I'm playing this. Because when I'm actually playing the game, I just sort of relax and I listen to a podcast between the breaks, knowing that it doesn't matter what I do with the mouse, with the controller and stuff during the breaks, because I'm going to cut them out anyway. Because all I show in this is fights. Between the fights, I train up moves, I train up my stats and stuff. But I didn't feel that was what you guys were coming in for. This series is about showing my progress in the fights, and if you watch from fight to fight to fight to fight to fight, you will actually see how I improve as a fighter going on, from my first fight in the WFA at the start of episode 1 of the Adventures of Chael Sonnen, all the way to this and further on, obviously, where you can see that I am actually becoming quite a dominant fighter. What happened with this one is I was so close to winning, and I got distracted because I started to have sound issues. But I've turned the sound right down, so the sound issues shouldn't bother you guys. But if they do, I do apologise. But and that really got me distracted because I was really trying to sort out the sound issues. And well, yeah, this happened.
Man, this crowd is loving it, Mike. What a fight! Trying to remain calm, see if he can break out of this.
And for the life of me, I was desperately fighting out of it. I did get out of this one, but I was still really, really distracted because the sound issues were getting worse and worse as the fight was going on, and I was really struggling, and they were getting worse and worse, and they were really worsening. I mean, I was thinking, and I was so close. I mean, I could see here, the amount of blood that I'd lost, the amount of damage I'd done. That this one, what I was going to win this. I was pretty fucking confident I was going to win. You know, I was breaking his submissions, and the sound issues were getting worse and worse, and I was really worrying about the sound. Because obviously I do really worry about the quality of content I put out for you guys, and he kept going for those submissions, and I was struggling free of all of them, you know. And I was confident, right, that I could win this and I could do this, you know, and I could give you guys the victory. I could give you guys the quality fight, and then he knocked me out with a knee to the head. And that really is one of my problems. I get knocked out with knees to the head a lot. And that's the only thing that knocks me. I don't get knocked out with like punch combos and stuff. I get knocked out with knees to the head, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. How do I defend against a knee to the head like that? Is it just bad timing on my part with the when I go in for the double leg? Because I'm not totally sure about that, but that is something I am hoping to fucking improve on. I have got a test file where I'm playing as other fighters just to sort of practice, because I haven't got a test file for the Chael version. So everything that I play on this for the Chael one, you guys see. Whenever I boot up the Chael one, I record. I don't do fights. I've done one fight off camera, and that's only if to get to the next sort of progress, I have to fight somebody again. Because genuinely, in this recording session, I fight Vitor Belfort about 30 times. Because, well, in the division that I'm fighting in, there's about 6 people in the top, and it's all around the top. And so in order to sort of qualify to get a title opportunity, you've got to beat the person near the top, and it's either Belfort or bloody Bisping. So obviously I fought Palhares before, and here we are fighting Palhares again. Palhares was not a problem at all. I mean, the first time I fought Palhares, he was really fucking difficult, but that was because I wasn't expecting him. I wasn't expecting his style. That's what it was. I was going into that fight expecting him to be a stand-up, and then I went in and he was like this sort of bouncy submission-y guy who was sort of dropping down and grabbing me in a knee bar from a punch in the face, you know. And you know, I really wasn't expecting Palhares to be the kind of fighter he ended up being, but now I knew what was coming. I knew the kind of fighter he was, and I was able to counter him. So obviously I used my usual tactics, and I got some serious fucking head damage in, and he didn't really last all that long. Got him on the floor, backed off, because I knew if I went in for the to mount him, he'd get me in an ankle lock, because he does that a lot, right, or some sort of submission based thing. And I just sort of kept hitting him, knowing that the more damage I do to that guy's head, the quicker he's going to go down. Throwing in my kicks, which is something that I'm getting really good at. My version of Chael is getting really good with those kicks, and those kicks are becoming like his sort of signature. Yeah, so I was going like that. I was trying to catch him with kicks whenever I could, and you know, I knew what Palhares could throw at me, so I knew how to stop him. Stay away from him when you get him down, and just sort of let him get back up and stick with the stand-up, because he's not great with stand-up. You know, you can obviously jump in with stuff like that, and then fight stopped. There we go. But obviously he's pretty good at submission, so I wanted to stay out of. I didn't want to give him the opportunity to get me anywhere near a fucking submission. Not in that one. Nowhere bloody near. I didn't want to go anywhere near submissions. That was not something I was even bloody considering. And I knocked him out. Well, I TKO. Got the TKO victory. Yeah. So obviously we'll go to that now. And as soon as the fight winner is announced, that's me obviously, we'll go to the next fight. The next fight is in Pride. That's right, this is our first fight in Pride. Now I prefer Pride fighting in this game to the actual UFC fighting, because I prefer the Pride rule set. I like the longer rounds. I prefer the longer rounds, and I prefer the combat style of Pride. where you can get away with more stuff. I mean, they don't stop the fight if you're like mounting and people. They do stop the fight if you mount them, but stuff like the step over stomps and stuff that you can do. And I just prefer the fight style of Pride. And well, I've never lost. I only lose once. I've only ever lost once on a Pride arena. I prefer the Pride fights, the Pride rule set, and frankly, I prefer the Pride commentators. I think the Pride commentators are more interesting. The UFC commentators on this game, I find, use a lot of stock lines, or like the old WWE SmackDown games with Michael Cole and Taz, where you know, you like wrestling a match and then Taz will go, "And the Undertaker lost the match," and I prefer the commentators of the Pride, and obviously my version of Chael, obviously I think is more suited to Pride because he can get away with more shit, you know. So obviously submissions in Pride isn't something that I usually do, and it's not something that I do much after this, but whenever I get the opportunity for a Pride fight, I am very keen to get into it. I do like doing the Pride tournaments, and I like the three fight tournaments, and I think it kind of fits more with the style that I'm using for Chael. Obviously, he got me down, and I'm still not at my best in this one, but now I've sort of discovered that my kicks really work. And obviously, I'm getting more and more knockout victories because I'm becoming a better fighter, I figure. I don't like resorting to the double leg and the ground and pound. I prefer to do. I like the more stylized fights, the cooler looking fights, the more the more entertaining fights, really. Because obviously, I know the fights I'm doing. I'm going on YouTube, and if they're going to be a boring sort of round of cuddling and stuff like that, I don't like it. But that's why I like to try and get the grapples in, and the slams and the suplexes and stuff like that. The belly suplexes is the one that I really like doing. But yeah, obviously, my style in Pride is really working, and I like the fact that you're not limited to what you. That's what I like. The step over, stomp in the head, get them up, back heel kick, knockout. You know, leaving a slumped heap of man on the floor of the Pride ring. I also think the Pride ring seems bigger than the octagon. I don't know if that's actually true in the game, but it does seem like it. And here we go into the second Pride fight. In this one, we're facing off against we're in this one, and obviously I can't help it if people are going to log on to the network. But in this fight, now I knew that my kicks fucking worked. I led with them quite a bit. But I do prefer the Pride fights. I like the Pride arena. And I just have more fun with the Pride fights. I bet it's a much more fun stand-up for me, a stand-up fight in the Pride fights. Not so much grappling, and more mano-a-mano stand-up fight. I know I do repeat a lot of the kicks, and double leg is only really for one reason when I'm fighting in Pride, just to get the guy down, get in a dominant position, stand up and tread on the bastard, just because that's something I want to do. So obviously, the reason I'm going for the double leg here a lot is I'm trying to floor him so I can just get free of that like this, try and pull myself into the dominant position, and then I was hoping to try and get the stomp in, you know, hop up and stomp on his head, because that's something. And there also is, obviously, there's the achievement on the game to knock somebody out with a soccer kick, and I haven't worked out how to do that yet, but that's something I do really want to work out, because I also like the idea of the soccer kick, really. But there seems to be more. Yeah, this here. Look at that. Look at that sick stomp there. You know, and obviously I'm damaging the head more and more as the fights continue. He gets a bit dominant here, but I managed to get on top, get a few shots in. But he gets me in a submission, and I pull free because I am quite good at pulling free of submissions. I'm finding now. I've started to work out how to do it, and Obviously, Chael's submission defense is pretty high, but my tactic obviously is to get on top, especially when I'm fighting in Pride, to just try and get in control of them on the floor, then stand up and go for the stomp. Just because the stomp seems to be a lot more damaging, and I'm obviously looking for knockouts a lot. Here, look, I get a good stomp there, follow it up with a good back heel, another good back heel. Get him down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stomps there on the floor. 9, the 9th stomp. Missed the kick, knock him down with a push kick. And there's a win for me in Pride. The next one I got really cocky. I think it was against Yushin Akami. And it's in Pride, obviously, and the thing that I did wrong with this one is I went in thinking, I've beaten Yushin Akami in UFC. There's no way he'll come anywhere fucking near me. I'm going to knock this twat out within 5 minutes. And that's what I went in. I got too cocky, really. And, well, he made me pay for it, didn't he? You know. He seems to be a much better fighter when he's fighting in Japan. Because obviously, I believe he is Japanese, so well, he's listed as Japanese on the game. So he seems to be a much better fighter when he's fighting in Pride, much like I am. But he's a better fighter than I am, and he caught me in this one, you know. I was really disappointed because I really did want to win the Pride tournament. I like it when I get the opportunity to compete in the Pride tournaments, and it's really sweet if I get to win as well. You know, it's really sweet when I get to win the fights, and a whole new style you can go with in the Pride fights, because there's stuff in the Pride matches that you can do that you can't do in the UFC matches. Slightly different rules and stuff like that, and you know, that means your fighting style is different. I tend to be a much more stand-up fighter in Pride, and a much different kind of fighter in Pride. I was finding I was fighting a different fight almost, which is why I like it when the Pride fights happen. You know, obviously I will go back to the ground and pound from time to time because it works. And don't fucking stop doing something that works. That's not smart business. To just not do something that works. But obviously, in terms of these Pride fights, you find that it's a good thing to just sort of go with to change your style, because there's more options in a Pride fight. And I was doing this, I got into side control, and I was getting the shots into the side of the head. I was thinking, God, I'm going to win this easy, you know. Look how much blood's on the floor. He can't take much more of this. You know, and getting too cocky when you're fighting someone you fought before, you know, that's when they can catch you and they can make you pay for it. And that's certainly something that I found with Akami here. That you don't underestimate a bloke in his hometown. That is one of the stupidest mistakes you can make. I was thinking, God, I've got him. Look at this. You know, I'm in control the whole way through. You know, thinking that there's nothing he can do that can even get close to me, and thinking that I'm going to dominate this idiot. You know, that's what I was thinking. I'm just going to absolutely dominate him. Thinking, you know, I did try for the pulling out quickly of the mount to go for the stomps, and I tried that a couple of times, and I think he seemed to be wise to it, you know, which I don't know whether that was the fact that the game actually monitors what you've done in fights before, and people sort of and the AI kind of defends against it, or whether it's just luck that he did what stops me, sort of thing. Because he seemed to be wise to it. Whether that's a thing or not, I'm not sure, but he rolled me over at this point, and I was a bit worried, thinking, oh God, I'm gonna have to. How am I gonna get out of this? You know, he's inside control. I don't know what I can do. And then he got me with the knees, and they stopped the fight. I was really annoyed with that because I was thinking, fuck, I really thought I'd won that, you know. I really thought I'd won this one. But not so much, not so much as it would turn out. I lost to Yushin Okami. But obviously here we are in the middleweight with my the last fight of this episode against Alan Belcher. Again, we're back in the UFC because there were no more Pride fights for me, which was annoying because I didn't really want to go back to fighting the UFC. I wanted to fight some more Pride fights because I'd really got used to the Pride fighting style, and we're at Madison Square Garden and we're fighting Alan Belcher. So we've got Eve Levine as the referee, as we did before. There's about 4 referees that it cycles around. There's obviously the Pride referee who's someone else. And again, it was at this point that I was starting to realise that my kicks fighting style was really fucking working, and kicks were becoming something that I could actually use as a kind of kicks were going to be something that I should do more than punches. The Superman punch rarely does much damage, whereas my push kick and my spin kick really does the fucking business, you know. And that's what I was finding with this one, you know. So if something is really doing the business, you fucking do it more often. And obviously doing a lot of the kicks, I was really starting to discover my stamina issues. And I know I said I hate these things, but I really do find that these grapples can be really helpful. So especially with the lacking stamina that my version of Chael's got, I do need a lot of, essentially, to use a wrestling term, a load of like rest spots almost, you know, rest spots where I need to do things that allow me to catch my breath. And he absolutely got me there with that kick, and I was thinking, shit, he's going for a submission. I'm rocked, you know, he's gonna get me, you know, and I managed to pull free just, you know, barely almost. I got lucky, I was able to pull free, and I went with the elbows and the punches, and tried to get into a dominant mount position to throw the punches, because obviously that is definitely something you've got to try and do. And when you get him on the floor, the ground and pound, even if it's not enough to finish, the ground and pound isn't enough to finish. Even if the ground and pound is not enough to finish the fight, you really want to try and do as much damage as you can while you're down there. If you can't hit the head, I go for the chest, the stomach. And again, obviously, he got me into the triangle choke there. But again, I was able to pull free. Submissions haven't been much of a problem for me, apart from when I'm fighting certain fighters who are just my fucking bogey fighters. And you'll see one of my bogey fighters in, I think in the next episode, or I'm going to look in to see whether I can put it in this one. But I do fight one of my bogey fighters soon, but obviously saved by the bell. But I think I could have pulled out of that triangle anyway, if I'd actually have had the time to do so. But obviously the round stops and we go into our corners. I always heed the advice because it always helps me to know how I'm doing. Stay patient, opportunity will come. Obviously I'm getting gassed too easily, but that's something that happens because my stamina seems to be my stamina in this game seems to be quite ridiculous. But obviously we come back in here to the round, into the second round here. And I think all out offensive from the start of the round, you know, punching kicks, trying to make my opportunities really. Going in close with the punches, then pulling back out with the kick, and then going in for the grapple to catch my breath, getting him down, and back into the dominant sort of the dominant position on the ground for the ground, trying to get him for the ground and pound. Damage his chest, damage his stomach. Went for a submission here for some reason. I think it was more my finger slipped and I ended up in the submission. But I thought since I'm in the submission I may as well try and finish it, but I didn't manage to. It's not very often I get submissions now because of the way I've pushed Chael towards the stand-up, more so of his fights, the stand-up element. But obviously on the ground grapple, he got on top, and I was a bit worried here. I was really worried, so I was desperately kicking his leg whilst also trying to stop him from transitioning so he could posture up and get some punches and let the referee get us up. So I thought, now I've been on the floor sort of rolling around for a bit, I've got quite a bit of energy, so I thought I'll go for the kicks and try and finish. I got him on the floor. Thought, fuck it, let's go for the rear naked. Let's try and put him out. So I rolled him in for the rear naked choke, but again, it really wasn't going to work. So I got some more of a rest spot though. So I thought, fuck, get him off me quickly before he transitions. But he manages to transition here and get me into something. But before he does that, I plump for a Kimura just to try and stop him from being in control, but again I'm unable to finish the submission. So again I'm desperately trying to push him off me, and I'm trying to avoid ended up in with him on top again. So I'm throwing the punches, and he stings me with a kick, so I have to go for the takedown just to stop me from being knocked out, because when you're rocked there's a chance that there's more of a chance of them knocking you out, or the fight being stopped on a TKO. So I went to the ground to try and avoid the being rocked state. Again, he got me into a submission, but I managed to break free as the bell goes to order us into the break from the end of the second round. But pretty much I'm thinking at this point I can probably finish him pretty quick if I just have a bit of a stand-up flurry, really. You're winning this fight, don't get knocked out. At this point I'm thinking, yeah, they're trying to encourage me to go for the... they're trying to encourage me to hold out till the end and the judges will score in my favour. But I thought, fuck that shit, let's go for it in the third round. And that's exactly what we did. Kick after kick after kick.
That one dropped him. He's hurt.
And we go into the ground pound, and I managed to get him into the submission. Again, I'm not completely confident with my submission skill, and he's able to defend against me and break out. But this is the last fight, guys. I'll say goodbye now. So see you guys in the next episode of The Adventures of Chael Sonnen. After this fight, after this fight ends like that with a knockout from the front kick, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye.